Welcome back. A recent study has revealed that returns from rental incomes on investment in commercial property across India's metros is around 10.5%, the highest in the world. With the 7th edition of the Indian Property Show due to open this week in Dubai, we're now joined by Sunil Jaiswal, the founder of the show, to discuss what is in store for the Middle Eastern investor. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you very much, Laura.
Now, the Indian real estate sector really has bounced back from the crisis and has been set to grow at a rate of 30% each year. So, tell us where we are now.
Right, well, we had a great 2 years where prices just dropped from where they were. And we had a situation, I think, 2 years ago where the market was just full of speculation. Very similar to here in Dubai, where investors were buying to sell to investors.
Right.
And today we've seen all the investors leave the market because of, obviously, the market crashed. But what we've seen is a resurgence of people who are looking to buy their own homes. And that's really causing prices to come back up again. People have realized there are bargains out there and people are buying their own homes.
Definitely. So in terms of projects under construction, there's been a very significant increase from 70 billion in 2006 to 102 billion for 2010. What's been the main reason behind this push?
Well, when people ask me that question, I usually refer to a movie I saw recently called Unstoppable, where there was this train that couldn't be stopped. And India's much like that train, where the population growth is so strong. We're at 1.2 billion people already, and that's no sign of stopping. So the population growth, the demand inside of India for housing is causing the prices to go up, and it's going to happen long term, unless, of course, the government does something to stop the population, which is going to be very, very hard. So long term, we're looking at prices going up in India, and that's pretty much anywhere in the world, but small, short-term fluctuations.
So in terms of pricing as well, how do these properties in India compare to other international cities then?
Well, prices in India in some parts of Mumbai are more expensive than central London or even other big cities.
Wow.
But India is such a huge place. If you look at the whole of India, we've got 43 cities or 44 cities, over 1 million population, and the whole of Europe, there's only 35 cities with a whole, million population plus. So the size of India is huge, and in every city there's, hot spots and cold spots, or expensive spots and cheap spots, So it's all about looking for that bargain, finding the right price point. Properties are available from even something like 50,000, 60,000 dirhams, all the way up to $20, $30 million.
Oh wow, that's incredible!
So it's a huge range, and it's something to suit everybody.
So are there any potential bubbles within the sector as well? And what can be done to sort of avoid these bubbles?
Well, it's interesting. When you look at the real estate market, there's either a bubble forming or it's a bubble bursting. It's very hard to pick the middle spot. But, looking at the demand, where it's coming from, at the shows that we run, we've seen a 50-50 split between investors and home buyers. Last year, during the middle of the recession, we saw that home buyers segment grow to 70%. And now I think we're back to 50-50, or maybe it'll be somewhere in between. But, there's huge growth. There's huge demand inside of India. And that's coming from both home buyers and investors.
Because I was also going to ask about the supply-demand ratio. Can you tell us a bit about that as well?
Well, we've heard different stats from across the country, but it looks like at the moment that demand is far exceeding supply. Right. Some people say up to 3 times. But one interesting statistic is that over the next 20 years, if you take Mumbai, they've got to build a city the size of Mumbai, or actually twice the size of Mumbai, across the whole of India, just to keep up with the demand.
Oh, wow.
So when you think of it like that, there's this huge demand from inside of the country to keep that demand growing.
So you've got the Indian Property Show coming up tomorrow in Dubai. Tell us a little bit about the show and what sort of investments you're sort of expecting from the show as well.
Sure. Well, we always encourage people to come down to the show and have a look at what's there. We're our 7th show now. We're going for 4 years. And it's really interesting to see how things have changed over the years in terms of the exhibitors and what people are looking to buy, and the different hotspots in India. So it's really good to come to the show to see exactly what's on offer, what are the hotspots, and can you pick up a bargain? Because there are some exhibitors who've got some bargains up their sleeve, which you have to go negotiate, and I'm sure you can get a good deal.
Definitely. So what should investors keep an eye out for, do you think?
Well, what I like about India is that there are so many cities, what we call the tier 1 cities. There's a few of those big, like Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai. And then you have a lot more of the slightly smaller cities, tier 2 cities, and a whole bunch of tier 3 cities. Now, for me, looking at the urban population inside of India, the big cities can't handle much more growth. They're already suffering, So it's a case of looking at the tier 2 and the tier 3 cities for great investment opportunities. And the government of India itself are trying to push people to those smaller cities just to balance the growth a little bit. So looking at tier 2 and tier 3 cities, a little maybe 100 kilometres, 200 kilometres from the main city, it's a good investment.
Thanks so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's it from the business desk. You can write to us, though, at ib@city7tv.com. Up next, Zoe Richards is back with the details of the Professional Muay Thai Championship to be held in Dubai.